Kevin, what would you say your main skills are?
Rugby, soccer, Gaelic, tennis, climbing, basketball, shooting, golf, baseball and hanging tough.
Test your sports skills at Skillzone, Ireland's first multi-sports indoor circuit. Be the first to get 100 points and you'll also win €10,000. Skillzone Sandyford. See skillzone.ie. T's and C's apply. So, Kevin, what would you say your main skills are?
And we are live in the bunker. Good evening, welcome along to the Monday Club. We have a packed house in tonight. There's a few people in here you might recognise, some you might barely recognise, and we've also got a debutant. Everyone is called Ray tonight, just so as we can make that clear. Beside me here is Ray, beside Ray is Ray, then beside Ray is Ray, and Ray as well. Okay, so but on a serious note, going around the table, we've got Damo Floyd. We found him. He's brought his dino with him. He's parked him outside in the car park. We've got Ray Brady, came up with a great song for Salah.
I don't know about that now,
He came up with a song for Salah. Beside him, of course, we've got Andy, and beside him we've got Nilo. And Nilo Gray, as it turns out, because it's very close to Ray Gray. And then beside him we have Ray Dickinson, who everyone is following on Twitter today, and they're all wondering, who's this egg we're following on Twitter? Hasn't tweeted once.
I have sorted it, yeah.
Have you? Yeah. Good.
We're all waiting on your first tweet.
Yeah, no, I thought it'd go with the old drum roll first.
I'm impressed. Right, well done. You're getting
Still
there.
cock shot, right?
You're getting there. Right, so tonight, hopefully you've all listened to the Fatback 4, so we're not going to cover off the City game in too much detail. Well, that's a lie, because we are going to cover off the City game in a bit of detail. So, but we won't do it on the podcast too much, because otherwise we'll have nothing to talk about. Let's be honest about it. We only do this once a week, except for Neil, who might do it twice this week, because he's that type of guy. So look, first up, I just want to get on with this and see where it goes, right? But look, there's been an awful lot of shit going down on the Twitter timeline today around the sending off still going on, right? So first of all, Ray and Ray Dickinson, debutant. Do you still actually care at this stage?
Not at this stage, you know. I mean, I was livid at the time. I didn't agree that it was a red card personally at the time, but having had a look at it again and, you know, listened to all of the, you know, the so-called experts, you can see why it was given at the end of the day. I mean, it spoilt the game. Yeah, it spoilt the game. You know, let's not get away from that. But the rules are the rules, and you know, we just got to move on. He's going to get the ban. I don't even know if they've even sort of put an appeal in or anything at this stage.
They appealed today, yeah.
I mean, I think it's a waste of time, personally. I think, you know, let's just move on. Let's just plan for the next few games and get over it, you know.
Okie dokie. Neil, did you have anything you wanted to say on that?
In respect to the actual incident itself?
Anything around the red card. Do you care?
Do I care?
If there's anything in your mind.
And I'm asking this seriously because the amount of fucking things, the debate that's going on, was it a red card, it wasn't not a red card. Look, the only thing that matters, for anyone that's watching, the only thing that matters was it was a red card because he got sent off. You can debate, should it have been a red card, should it not have been a red card.
I can see what you're saying. The whole debate is completely irrelevant. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to talk about the match or you want to talk about what happened during the match, you can only deal with facts and not what probably should have happened or probably didn't happen. You can only deal with what happened.
We're in the fucking wrong game. That's what we do.
I don't know, fuck this, I'm after
Shall I carry on? Yeah. Well, what annoyed me most about it was, I suppose, it was the immediate reaction after the sending off.
Christmas lights on.
The fact I'm speaking here, Andy.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about the Christmas lights.
Fairy lights, like, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to
say?
say?
More important than anything.
It's not even Halloween yet.
the Christmas lights for everyone watching.
Go on, and you were saying something.
What I was saying was, I was going to make a really specific point. My biggest disappointment was the reaction to the red card from the other 10 players. It was there was no reaction at all. I mean, it's usually the 10 players kind of even step up their game a little bit to try and make up for it, but our heads dropped completely. I think we nearly threw in the towel and was incredibly disappointed. In times gone by, I hate to kind of reflect back on Stephen Gerrard and keep mentioning him, but at least he would have got stuck in. We might have got sent down to 9 men, but he really would have made an effort and tried to G up everybody else. Nobody did that. Nobody picked up the mantle and tried to show a bit of leadership. We all just disappeared into a shell, and the match became an inevitability shortly after that. And he can say the sending off ruined the game. It doesn't fucking matter. He got sent off, but the reaction after the sending off was the most important thing, and it was really, really disappointing in my opinion.
Okay, and this is where I want to go to, right? And it's more so the reaction to the sending off. I don't want to go through the whole thing, right? But
the incident is the incident.
The incident is the incident, right? We were 1-0 down anyway when the sending off happens. Okay, we've had a good start to the game. You know, we could have taken a chance that Salah got in and scored a couple of goals. We could have been 2 or 3-1 up at that stage, but we didn't. And then what happens is, it's mind-boggling. It's a mental collapse more so than anything else. It's almost like the players felt that it was okay to throw the towel in once we were down to 10 men.
It's like it was an excuse, Phil. That's kind of it's like, this is the excuse we're 1-0 down here, we're away from home. Now he's had to get, this is the excuse we needed now. We can down tools and say, listen, or we'll go into the interviews after the match, and what we say is, listen, we'll put this behind us and we'll step it up for Seville because it's Europe next week, so this will be forgotten about. It was incredibly disappointed, and that's not just coming from the play. That's the players that came on, the players that were on the pitch, the management. We just seemed to throw the towel in, and it's infuriating.
I think it was almost an inevitability that we were going to concede again before half time. I mean, the response was just so inept.
It's terrible. I don't get it, because we sort of briefly touched on it, but you know, you are 10 men down. You put all the bodies between them and the goal, and we've got flyers still. I know Mane's gone off, but Salah's an absolute flyer. You just need one break over the top and he's in. And we done that on 2 or 3 occasions. That isn't 11 against 11. That was just the right pass.
That's kind of the game we were playing before the sending off anyway. So our tactic didn't have to metamorphose into something else completely different. We could have stayed that way.
Yeah, but Mane's role in that particular
is the breakaway. I understand that. Yeah, but then we took Salah off, which is fucking mental.
Well, that's when the white flag, you know,
was
raised.
Isn't it? You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
That was when the manager's trying to wind down at that stage. Like, the response to the sending off, the players, the team are always going to be a little bit disjointed. They're playing against a quality side who smell blood and attacked us, and the players just couldn't get their shape. They just couldn't get themselves together. That happens in football. The worst thing about the whole thing was going 2-0 down before half time. If they hadn't went 2-0 down at half time, I think we might have seen a little bit of a better fight back in the second half. Look, everybody's going fucking mad over this. For this event to happen again, we have to be away from home against a top side like this again, to lose a player like Mane, who's so important, for us to revisit this exact scenario again. I don't think the players are bottlers. I don't think the players give up or throw in the towel. Last season, they may have, but they may have. But it's not a regular thing with the team. Last season, no other team in the league got more points from losing positions.
Okay, and Damo, I want to ask, because you haven't been in a while, right? I want to ask, what have you been doing?
I've been raising dinosaurs.
Come on. How's that going? Are you getting ready for the next Jurassic Park film? Is that what it is? In Longford, where the country's actually paying.
I went down, there's loads of dinosaurs.
No, but the mental impact of this, I know people say, look, it doesn't really matter, and Andy's even saying it there, that, you know, it doesn't really matter because you have to have a certain set of circumstances for this to happen again. But football isn't necessarily like that. It just takes another goal or a strange event to happen, and suddenly you start developing a mental thing around these things.
But already that can be labelled against this team going back since Klopp took over, even under Rodgers. Like, we've always had that, if we concede a goal, we shit our pants, you know. Or it's happened with the likes of Lovren, happened with the likes of Mick. Like, I have to say, Saturday, and I know I was kind of getting on it on Twitter, like, giving out fuck about it, but I was disgusted.
Like you now.
I actually been very quiet about it. But
the way dinosaurs to bring up.
The way the fucking down tills was another disgrace. There was actually, and it was even the fans accepted it. That's what pissed me off even more, saying it's City, like, fucking, what do you expect? Like, it's 5-0. There was 3 games on Saturday. I was watching soccer Saturday. There was 3 games where the teams were 1-0 down and they were down to 10 and they come back and won the games. Now, I know it's a completely different, like, level that they're playing at, but the lads did down till Saturday, in my opinion. Second half was fucking disgusting. It really was. I could barely even bring myself to watch it.
It was painful.
It was really painful to watch it because there was no steel there, and, like, all you could have done was quite easy, just put one man up front and then just try stifle them as much as possible. But we didn't even try that. Like, we weren't closing the ball. We weren't even on the side. We still have problems in that side. We will win games. We will win them well. We'll all be fucking happy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we need fucking players to stand up to get those 3 points. They will let us down. And fucking Clavin lets us down for the first goal. He's fucking 5 yards deeper than anyone else, and he's chasing the man out to the wing.
It was very bad, wasn't
He's
he?
fucking
He
shocking.
was awful.
I mean,
awful.
and we're controlling that game at that stage. I mean, I'm watching that and I think we're bashing this. We get a goal, we're fucking bashing this.
Yeah.
They get one counter attack, and it's not even a fucking great run by Aguero. Like, they're fucking pulling him off, saying great movement. He runs through the middle. Clavin runs out of the middle. Like, that's fucking basic defending, and like, we haven't addressed that, and we're going to have them problems all season long.
No,
I said we will win games, and we'll do well, but we will have them problems.
I absolutely agree, because and it's like, it's not to get on Clavin's back, but the biggest fear that I think nearly every Liverpool fan had gone into after the transfer window was over was that Clavin was third choice centre back as opposed to being fourth choice centre back. Now I think we would have we probably could have accepted conceding that goal more had Joe Gomez been playing centre back, to say, okay, this is a young fella who has immense talent, right, and has like potential for the future, and you're saying that's a learning experience. But when you have a 28, 29-year-old who clearly steps in behind his defence all the time, the same issue we had with Skertel when he tried to play in this system, it becomes a systemic thing that's the team hasn't been playing like that for a long time. It doesn't drop back. It wants to push up. It wants to make the space compact. What was most revealing for me was that Klopp had a go about the midfield and saying the team wasn't compact enough. But it's very hard to be a compact team if one of your centre-backs drops back automatically 4 or 5 yards behind the other 3 defenders that are there, because that immediately drags that defence back and creates a space between the midfield and the defence. Getting that selection right is key to us being able to compete. And I don't know whether Lovren was injured or whether he was being rested. And I think the resting is an interesting one, because he played the game on Tuesday.
I think getting that selection right, Phil, is nearly impossible when the personnel isn't there to make that selection. Do you know what I mean? I think he's left himself in a hole there. Well, obviously we all know he has, and many times we've been over it since the window closed. We don't want to trash over old shit. But like,
we do it every week.
You bring in Clavan, right? You bring in Clavan, and you bring in Gomez, and he makes a similar mistake, but he's only young, and we say it's okay, so it's just not so bad. But we're just repeating the same mistakes because the personnel that are there aren't capable of playing that position in the formation the Klopp wants them to play.
But Neil, I still think we're less likely to make that error with Gomez in the side, because he doesn't automatically drop back towards the 18-yard box. That's because he has the pace
to recover.
And not just that, but he's been taught to play a defensive style, which is that aggressive front foot defending, which, as much as Lovren gets dogs for it, he's the one that always goes and tries to win a ball out in front of players. He wants to go in. He doesn't want to drop back to his 18-yard box. His biggest problem is he wants to win things on the halfway line instead of on his 18-yard line.
He'd have got a challenge in on Aguero. Yeah, there's no sure thing. He might have got turned upside down.
He would have made it.
Being left for dead. But he would have made a challenge.
But I think he would have read it better. Like, Clavin hasn't read it. Like the movement has taken. I think Jesus moves out to his left.
Jesus moves. Like, no wonder, no chance.
He wasn't the fuck with that big cross on his back.
It was like the sea just opened up, wasn't it?
One little wheel at the end of the cross on his back.
Jesus standing there with his staff.
Even Jesus got away from Clavin on the cross.
Though, isn't it? As soon as you see Clavin's name now on the team sheet, there's going to be that your arse clenching.
Yeah, I know. We have had these points last season where we said, "Oh bollocks, Clavin's playing," and we've actually won games as well.
Yeah, we've done okay with them in the past, but the thing is, this was Man City away. Why aren't you playing your best 2 centre backs? Like, why are you trying to be?
Well, some people would say that Clavin is better than Lovren. Maybe we can put that one together.
Yeah, exactly. We know that now, don't we? So.
I think that what Ray said as well, trying to be a bit clever. I mean, there was no need. Just do the obvious fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Well,
that's why I'm on the big books.
Oh, have to hit the button. Go on, keep walking away.
I mean, if they see that team sheet, our team sheets, they're just going to go, happy days, do you know what I mean? We're going to get at these boys, no problem. And they did. I mean, we can sort of bitch and moan about what Liverpool did or didn't do. Fair play to City. That they sensed blood and they had the way with us, especially in the second half. They put 5 goals past us. It probably says not a lot about what they're capable of this season, but at the same time they can only do what they did. Do you know what I mean?
De Bruyne had a party as well, hadn't he?
He did.
Party time.
Yeah, like the overreaction. We just need to kind of relax and I mean, it was more important that Liverpool respond on Wednesday than they didn't. Than they conceded 5. Like, if they had a lost 1-0, 2-0. if they fought harder.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that they respond on Wednesday.
Well, I
And,
think
like,
it's just as well we have got that game on Wednesday to come back and sort of, erase that bad memory.
When
Because
is this kind of shit gonna stop? You know, this perpetual law. We just need the next week. We just raise our game. It's killing me. 25
But Neil, I
years
think
now.
Neil, I think you've now reached a state of depression with Liverpool
I know,
football.
I'm on the way back.
No, you do, because you've given out about everything.
Yeah, you hate every sort of
You
football
literally
and
hate
cliche.
everything, right? Everything
you
is just.
want me to be
it's
honest,
not
don't you?
I know, but like,
And I am being
honestly,
honest. What do I love about
the
Liverpool?
American football is back.
What do you love about Liverpool?
I love that raise here.
cushion the blow.
If you watch the NFL Red Zone, that says
I don't
red.
want that be Liverpool. Young is a Liverpool supporter, so he has the same pain
He's not a
I have.
Liverpool supporter because
I am. I know, we don't fucking choice.
If I'm going to be in pain, you're going to have a lifetime.
The sins of the father, is that what it is? Jeez, I hope not.
No, Jesus plays for Man City.
I don't believe.
No. I think it's a fair point that's why it's so tiresome for us as fans, is because we're looking at the same players letting us down on a repeated basis. I'd even go as far as saying, and I want to.
The fucking defense of Moreno, Trent, Matip, who's
out there, and we don't want to see a repeat of that. That's
You're dead, really. We're 1-0 down with 11 men on the pitch, down to an error in defence.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of them. Look, you're going to have to judge it though on the next few games. There is every possibility that was just
and listen to me. And
it was a shit day in the office. It sounds, and no one wants to hear it because it's their team. No one wants to see them foul the way they did, but it can happen. Teams can have off days. You've seen fucking good Arsenal teams getting thumped. Some teams you can just have a fucking shit day. It doesn't click.
United have went there in their pomp.
It will be judged on it. I know, Neil, you said you don't want to keep going the next game, but after a shit performance like that, I sort of wait 2 or 3 games, especially after thumping Arsenal the week before. That I'll give it another 2 or 3 games and then see, right, that's fucking.
Right, no, but looking at Sevilla, we've got. There is the perfect opportunity for response to what goes on. It's a perfect chance for the players themselves, the likes of Chan, of Henderson, and Wijnaldum potentially, to stand up and show that they deserve to. I'd have to say, the Wijnaldum thing is now becoming a legitimate issue. We play away from home, and you may as well have him sitting beside you on the sofa watching the television, because he went from bashing lads against Arsenal.
Idiots out
to not being able to stand up against the smallest Manchester. David Silva was looking at him going, I'm going to do you. I've got you in my pocket. But now we have Sevilla at home. And
I'll translate for you and you say Sevilla. Sevilla.
We have Sevilla at home. And he has to start. He's going to turn it on, isn't he?
Well, at home, probably he will. Yeah, it's funny. I was watching the City match in the weekend. I was watching it with my dad, and he said, "Do you know what? I can't even remember his name now anymore." That's how anonymous he goes the odd time.
I was watching the game with Andy, and I said it was nearly half time. I said, "Is Wijnaldum actually playing?"
Yeah, it's terrible, mate.
I mean, it was.
Was he coming off when we realised he was playing?
He was playing.
We thought he was coming on.
That was after 6
games. We were saying that for months.
No, but right. He's going to turn up, yeah. On Wednesday night. It's at Anfield, isn't it?
Yeah.
Johnny's gone up, of course it is. Yeah, he'll have a good game, but then he'll fuck off again the following week.
Well, no, we're playing at home again on Saturday, so he'll.
Is he?
Yeah.
Maybe get that stupid cunt.
Obviously, Mane is going to play because it's in Europe.
Yeah.
So maybe when Allen comes out, Coutinho goes into the team, and then that means Coutinho can play at the weekend.
Yeah, well,
against Burnley.
Burnley.
That's Burnley.
Burnley and Sevilla. But looking at it, Damo, you're looking at you and me have been big fans of Wijnaldum since he arrived. Like, I'd arguably put myself as his biggest fan. I may have invented the moniker Invisible due to the fact that he has a big sort of relationship with Casper the Friendly Ghost. But like, you are a big fan of his, and it must annoy you when it goes on.
It does, because when you see games that he plays, like, he can be fucking exceptional for us in certain games, and he's a he's not capable of playing
at
that
Newcastle as well, though.
Do you reckon?
You know what I mean?
Did you hear Klopp talking about Chamberlain being able to play on both wings, and he can play the 2 number 8 roles?
Yeah.
Do you reckon he might be able to play the Heidi a bit better? So we're away from home. You could play him in the Hoydie.
So he doesn't have to play.
And he would be a bit better at Ronaldo than.
Fucking love that.
than-
Andy. The Hoydie, that is fucking brilliant.
I wonder what it is in German. The knock.
The knock.
Yeah. So Klopp just says to Chamberlain, "See the way Ronaldo plays the Hoydie. Right, I just need you to play that a little bit better and be less Hoydie." And then we're laughing. Chamberlain could play away from home in the Hoydie, and Ronaldo could play home in the Dairy.
Looking at the Sevilla game.
Imagine we bought a player because one of our players can't play away from home. So we do. How much have we got? 40 million. Right, get someone who'll play away from home. That's all he has to do. He doesn't even have to live in Liverpool. Tell him he just live everywhere else.
It's like a job. It's like a job share. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's in this week? Oh no, I'm taking the week off.
Yeah.
I'm minding the kids this week.
Are we home or
3
away
away
this week?
games in a row. I'm going to the Bahamas.
I'm off to Dubai to be gaff. Andy Carroll and me are off for the weekend.
That Pearly is the starting line and all that. That happens. Oh, sorry. He's a good goalkeeper.
I know
we have two fucking dogs.
I know you don't rate Karius, but I'm telling you now,
And do you know
he's a
why
better
I don't? Because
goalkeeper.
he's been terrible.
Well, he's a better goalkeeper
Well, has
for
the
the way we
manager
play.
ever been presented with the situation where he's 3 goalkeepers who are exactly the same?
What level?
Yeah, because Ward's going to play cup games, you know.
Or
Karius
is
is
he?
going to play Champions League games.
I think
and
Karius
Miga's going to play league games.
I think Karius is going to play all the cup games and all the Champions League games. I think
No,
eventually.
I think he's giving him that Champions League thing because he needs to give Ward. Like, Ward has been on loan for every fucking season and he's done well. Now he's got his chance to stay at the club. He has to give him minutes.
Andy, I don't disagree with you, but I don't think it necessarily works like that.
Okay, sorry.
No, I think he's. I think he's.
Trent is probably going to play next Saturday, so he'll be rested. Gomez will play. Yeah, I can't disagree with Andy there. That's nearly nailed on, I'd say.
I think Moreno starts.
Yeah, me too.
But if Moreno starts, then is he coming out the weekend?
This weekend? Yeah, probably.
You prefer probably.
I think Moreno at the moment is his number 1 left back. I know people.
I literally can't understand that.
I know.
How did that happen,
I'm with you 100%.
After Robertson has a fucking phenomenal, one of the best left back performances we've seen.
Fucking quality in every department.
Defensively,
It's
down
delivery.
forward, everything. He couldn't have a fucking better game. I don't think he was short than was scoring.
Score for Scotland then. What?
Then he gets then he gets left out and binned.
It's his Matt's fault, you know, baby.
You know.
But no, but I do think believes that Moreno has worked himself in and is playing well enough to be his first choice left back, and he's going to leave him in there until something cataclysmic happens with Moreno. So, or Robertson puts him in a position which potentially after his debut game you say, geez, that was an incredible game, he deserves another start. I think he comes in at the weekend in the league game. That's my own personal view. I think you're right about the centre backs. I don't think there's any doubt that Lovren and Matip, unless one of them has an injury, both of them start.
But that's the strongest pairing, in fairness, from the person.
That's the only pairing we have.
That's all we've got. Yeah.
That's what it is.
It is, and whatever you think about them, last season they did have a lot of clean sheets. They did seem to strike up a partnership where they conceded a hell of a lot less goals than previous partnerships. So in Klopp's system, whether you rate the two players individually, I don't really think they're both pretty average. But together, they seem to play quite well in Klopp's system.
The way it is for me with both of them, they should be our fucking centre halves from now until January. Yeah. And I don't care if they're bollocks third and their legs are falling off them come January. Play every single game. And I know it's difficult, but they should be capable of doing it. These are pros. And bear a bad knock or anything like that, they should be playing every game. Even if they're carrying a little niggle around like that. Sorry, you're in the team. We'll win the game, get you off.
Yeah.
Because that stability is what we need. It's going to substitute for the quality that we're lacking. Yeah. So you've got to keep them in there.
Well, until that stability comes, though, we are going to have the moving target where, at the minute, you can talk to any of us here and we're all fucking changing targets as who's responsible or who's the weak link or who's piss. If it's not the keeper, it's Lovren. If it's not Lovren, it's Moreno. And until we get a solid unit, and then you can start judging.
where he seems to be opening up teams, and they were saying like that he seems to have really adapted to Sevilla, and he's playing well for them, and a huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm now sort of genuinely concerned, really, that if we don't come out of the blocks quickly, that we're the crowd's going to get edgy, and I tell you, if we concede first, it's going to be a long old night. So I think out fast. I think
I think Sevilla just let us have the ball, because I think when we're playing 5 and 6 passes or 30 yards from goal is when we're our weakest. It really is, because we don't tend to open things up that way. We need a little bit more space to hit the break. So I think these lads are going to be a difficult enough to crack. I really do.
Yeah, I mean,
watching now 5-0 Liverpool.
I mean, you have to, look, I'm not going to be the romantic, but you have to take into it the full. I think the crowd will demand a fucking blitz of a start from the players.
Bots tonight, but right. So for everyone that's watching, we're going to continue this on. We're going to talk about Coutinho, Mane, Salah, and the rest, and we'll see us all next Monday. The pod will be out later on this evening. So that's